My name is Andrea Bougiouklis, and you are watching the Shadows Project.
In this episode of the Shadows Project, Andrea discusses her intriguing debut novel and publishing deal and her upcoming short film, which will be featured at the Toronto Film Festival later this year.
I've got a book and I've got a short film.
Okay. So which is the book? The book's Thorns, yeah?
The book is called The Art of Becoming a Traitor.
Okay, yeah.
Thorns is going to be the short film, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I thought they were both books. Okay, so we'll talk about both really, but the film's out this year, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to be shooting relatively shortly. It's going to be pretty short, under 20 minutes. It's about sort of the effects of abuse and how people live with that afterwards. But it's gonna be nice and short, nice and concise, very to the point. So I'm excited for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've seen on your website you're very politically aware, about Palestine and all these issues quite close to your heart. So it's about abuse, as in in what context is it?
I've written it with a certain lens in mind, a certain angle in mind. I've personally written it just in the sense of how certain people react to if your friend has been in an abusive relationship or has been sexually assaulted or something, how people don't necessarily respond to it well. I've written it about how your friends or whatever might not actually be able to be there for you in the way that you wish that they could. But that said, it is something that is going to be more interpretive. It is something that's going to be more, whatever you feel you take from it is just as valid. So
yeah. You've made other short films in the past and that. And where do you put them? Do you put them on? Because you don't have YouTube, do you? You had 3 videos on YouTube, and then I noticed it a few weeks ago, last week, and then you took them all down.
The YouTube videos that I had, they were, oh my God, I literally forgot about most of them until you were like, is this you? And I was like, it shouldn't be anymore. I mean, I do music stuff. I do other stuff as well. Now, especially just because I'm in my second year of university, I am going through more of this sort of professional path. Now I've wanted to sort of make everything more concise to what I want to be doing in the future. So the short films and stuff that I've made in the past, I don't feel represent how I work now. Mm-hmm. So everything that I've done before would be useful for maybe a portfolio or something, but I don't necessarily want them out there sort of as the first thing you'd be able to see. So I'm kind of clean slate type thing.
Okay, yeah. So this film Thorns will go on what platform?
It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Vimeo. Anywhere else we can maybe see if we can get it, but those two for sure, it'll be on there.
Because you got I think it was 27,000 hits on one of the videos. How did you do that?
Luck, I guess. I don't know. I'd never really promoted anything I'd done before, so the views just came and is what it is.
Because we interviewed David Hayter a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's obviously he wrote X-Men and Warrior Nun. I don't know if you've seen it, yeah? And he wrote this, and his video's got 400 views. I
mean, I don't know. It's literally just luck. That was luck. I didn't do anything for that. Things just happened, and I said, okay, I don't mind that.
Have you got lots of friends or something in uni?
I do. I have very many friends, and they all support me in everything I do. So it's very easy to get things.
This is the good thing, the beauty of you don't want to make age a focus, yeah. Mm-hmm. But usually people your age haven't usually got a publishing deal or, you know what I mean. So age is a focus in some ways, because what the advantages and disadvantages of this, do you think?
For me specifically, one thing that I've found, there's a good thing and a bad thing, because age is going to be a factor regardless of if you're older, if you're younger, whatever. But for myself personally, I've found that it's a lot easier for me to get support from people that I personally know, just because of, social media, because of whatever's going on. Just, it's very easy to get my friends to support me and things like that. But when it comes to actual professional, when I was querying for my novel, there was a lot of times where I knew that I had a feeling that I would get rejected because of age or lack of experience. And so things like that are very disheartening, just knowing that, because you have to start somewhere, and knowing that people aren't usually willing to help you start is just a disheartening thing. But I mean, it worked out in the end, which is good. And that's all that matters.
So The Art of Being a Traitor. That's a great title, that.
Thank you.
Was it your idea, the title?
That was my idea, yeah. I ran a few
say that's the best title. That's an amazing title. And then you say, oh, my publisher, give me that. But yeah. So could you just summarize this story, this book?
Yeah, so The Art of Becoming a Traitor follows the story of a young woman named Hilary Roman, and she is a soldier, and she's very ruthless. She's very scary. Her nickname is the Reaper. Like, she is someone you do not want to cross paths with. And she sort of is trying to adjust to life post-war, trying to find some like normalcy in her life. And she's working as sort of an intelligence officer, just trying to keep track of everything going on. And she learns that the war that she was fighting was not what she had originally been invested in. So somewhere along the line, her superiors had started lying to her. The people who were feeding her information had started lying to her. And she realizes that everything that she thought she stood for was just not that at all. So she takes it upon herself, her and her best friend take it upon themselves to sort of join forces with the rebellion soldiers that they were originally trying to destroy, essentially, and to try and lose a war that she's already won, to try and overturn everything that she did.
Okay. So where did this come? Like, I saw that you were like quoted. You said if you won an Oscar, you would say that two movies ever worth being made or something.
Prisoners and Another Round. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to say, where did the influence for this writing and filmmaking come?
For me, I think I'd always been sort of a creative person. When I was like 11, I wrote a short story for school. When I was like really young, me and some of like my cousins, my close friends, I would force them to film short films with me in the basement of their house. Like, I've always just had these ideas in my head. They weren't very good. Now they are, but I've always just been that type of person, that sort of creative person. I've always been writing in some way. So I think it was just a matter of figuring out which outlets I worked best with, because it was something that I always knew I'd eventually end up doing. So those films definitely help, but it was sort of...
What was the like genre, them type of films?
One of them, so Another Round, it's like a drama. It just came out last year. It just won Best Foreign Film at the Oscars. It's from Denmark. I loved it. I adored it. It was fantastic. The other one, Prisoners, it's like a murder mystery sort of. It's about a detective, and it came out in 2013. It's my favorite director, Denis Villeneuve. He's from Quebec, so it's pretty cool because he's a Canadian director, but neither of them are really the genre that I work in. Both of them are just things that I really enjoyed and really stuck with me over time.
Yeah, because you watch some of the American films and they get a bit samey, don't they? And then so like I started watching some Spanish films, and you've got like obviously like a different feel to them. And I can't speak Spanish, but like when I was watching them, they have the same sort of characters and a different sort of sense of humor. And you see these things come on when you watch the foreign films. But yeah, so you got published, yeah, with 5310 publishers.
Yeah,
I've seen like Mario Dell'Olio,
yeah.
His book from the Corey, I interviewed her, and so they've got some really good writers from there. That's why I looked you up. I saw you, some comments on some videos and that. So how did you get published with them?
So I finished writing my novel last December, December 2020, and I was kind of hesitant to try to like send it out to query it. I actually thought, I was like, I'll just like publish it myself. But I don't know, I guess I wanted some sort of like professional, like sort of look and association with it. So I started sending it honestly just everywhere. I was looking for a literary agent first, and that did not go very well. So I decided to start going directly to independent publishers, and things just worked out really well with them. And so it was just, I signed a deal for it at the end of February this year, and things have just been going from there.
And I mean, sometimes like I was thinking, like you with the writing, you're quite young compared to most writers.
Yeah. You've
got that life experience, and they can rely on that and call upon that life experience. Maybe you've obviously got life experience, but it'd be, much less. But the things that like the fearlessness of youth, or, different things, and you're living your life in writing as you're living it. Because often older people write about it later on, sort of in retrospect. Yeah. So most people don't write about it in this way. It's like me with this channel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Most of YouTube is for young people. They make, so I'm like the older end of the spectrum, making YouTube videos, and you're obviously the younger end of the spectrum, writing, novels and stuff. So how do you think people, will sort of judge you because of your age? Or
I think there will be, for sure, for some people, a certain lens of just immediately wanting to discredit or not necessarily discredit, but just be a bit of like a harsher critic on someone who's younger, just because, I obviously don't have the same experience as everybody else. I obviously don't have the same credentials as everybody else, but I can only hope that to some extent people will see past the age factor, and just see the actual writing itself. But definitely, as I've been learning throughout this whole process, there are people who will say that they want to work with new authors or with younger authors or whatever, but then when the time comes, they're hesitant to do so because of that lack of experience. So I don't know, hopefully this will just be something that for me personally can obviously start a foundation for everything else I want to do. But in general, in terms of just younger writers and stuff, I just want people to not look at that age factor and just look at the story for what it is type thing.
Exactly, yeah. Like I was determined not to bring it up. But then I bring it up because it's like the elephants in the room, and then obviously you speak great from the things I've seen about you. Obviously you have like a mature approach to life, and I just think lots of more young people should write, because like I said, they're in that moment, that excitement. And when there's like a song called La Boheme. I don't know if you heard this song. Amazing song. I'll send you the link afterwards. But it's about Montmartre in Paris. It's about like this artist who goes back to these streets now as he's older, like 20 years later, and they look totally different from how they look then. So I just think more young people should write, because they've got that energy about them that obviously you can't fake when you're older. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I know. For people around my age, a lot of my friends, a lot of people I know, everyone does write to some extent. Everyone does create to some extent, but it's this sort of, not necessarily a fear of rejection, but just this fear of not being taken seriously because of the age factor. That's sort of what stops most people I know from pursuing certain avenues, because it's just this inherent knowledge that regardless of how good what you make is, if you are that young and you don't have that experience, people are immediately going to look down on you to some extent. So that's what prevents a lot of people from going forward with their projects. I know that for sure for people my age, but honestly, just try it. Like, what is the worst that's going to happen if you don't? Like,
well, it's like, when I watch like the YouTubers, when obviously they're creating content, and their angles, they're always changing angles. Yeah. So you see them, and it's annoying. Like, to me, when I see like a young YouTuber, like, "Hi guys, today we're gonna earn the faces in here, let it out there." But the good thing about it is it does, like, because I'm going to change the format of these interviews now. And then next week I'm going to do another one and change the format, because I understand that just a straightforward like chat between people is very difficult. It's a difficult sell. You know what I mean? Difficult for people to sit there, and them young YouTubers who do like in your face, away from the face, they're full of energy. But I don't want to copy them. Yeah. But I understand that what they've got. I understand why other people are interested in that. And you'll see this with your filming. Yeah? You have a different eye from somebody who's like a cameraman who's 50 years old, who's from a different generation, do you see this with filming and that? Or?
I see the biggest difference, I think, age-wise in terms of filmmaking is just sort of, I find that there's sort of like a gap. It's either people who are very young or people who are very experienced are more willing to take different risks and more willing to just try whatever works. But there's this in the middle section, I find, where most people lie, where they sort of want to stick to the same thing over and over again because it's tried and tested and that it works. So for me and for my friends at school who do filmmaking and things like that, we're always trying to push what is acceptable. We're always trying to see where the boundary is. And I think that, just having that sort of fearlessness when you're creating things, having that sort of just disregard for convention or for what you've been taught in a book or whatever, is really helpful, not only to sort of create a sort of brand for yourself in that sort of like, technical business sense, but also just in sort of making things more just engaging in general. I've taken a few like, art history classes, like new media classes, things like that. And the artists, that always end up being more successful are the ones that you don't really know what they're going to do next. So I think that sort of spontaneity really,
it's a very difficult line to navigate, because I don't know, like you can find yourself thinking too much about what the audience wants, or trying to be too clever, Or, you know, like when you start editing, for example, you're putting transitions in left, right, and center, and the screen's gone. You know, you put about 50 transitions into like one small, you know, clip.
Yeah.
But then obviously you learn your sort of style, you learn your way. But it's, are you like a very calm person? You just, you know, think things through? Because just to elaborate on that question, because I saw that you're like a big art lover, yeah. I was looking on your Twitter feed, you've got all sort of, so that sort of artistic nature normally is quite relaxed and think things. Yeah.
I mean, I do think of myself as that type of person. I think specifically in terms of just, you know, whether it's filmmaking, whether it's writing, whatever it is that I do, I have a very sort of selfish lens in how I make things. I don't really think like, what does the audience want to see? I'll be writing something or I'll be making something and I'm like, okay, would I watch this? Like, what if I saw it on TV or if I was going through a bookstore, would I pick that up and go, oh, that looks so good? Like for me, my standard, very maybe, I don't know, to a fault sometimes, but it's gotten me this far. So maybe it works, but it's just would I like it? I don't really care too much for what, except for the people who are maybe working with me or for the people who are closest to me. Someone will eventually like it and people are going to like it or dislike it regardless of who you try to please. So if I like it and I'm satisfied with it, to me, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, I hated Dunkirk, you know, like, seen that movie? I know like it. Have you seen it?
I've not, but I don't know if you know what Letterboxd is. It's like a movie reviewing app. A few of my friends, I've seen it come up on there, but I have not seen it, no.
Yeah, I thought it's just overly indulgent by like, you know, some things become like a director sort of, he's got his little fantasy of what he likes to film, which is nice, you know what I mean? But it just, I just think it tries to be too clever and there's no actual story. There's no actual real story behind it. There's no heart to it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Okay, so you're a footballer.
I was, yes. I tore everything in my knee, but before I did that, I was, yeah.
That's mad. And yeah, and like, because I saw on your Instagram that you won some tournaments or something. Or,
oh yeah, a few years ago.
Champions again. So
we were a really good team. We were so good, and yeah, no, I mean, I actually think in a lot of ways that helped me in my writing in a sense, just because you have to, even when you go to showcases for sports, when you're talking to coaches from, you know, schools or whatever, you have to, even if you don't feel confident in yourself, you have to like make yourself seem like you are the answer to all of their problems. Yeah. So that sort of mindset has carried over into my creative work as well, which I think is a really cool connection to have.
But like sport with like failure, success, dedication, you know. So this is like some of the things that, you know, I saw on your Twitter. Like I said, you're an enigma. You're not everywhere. Yeah? I thought because I thought you that like even your Instagram, you hardly got any pictures.
My Instagram,
I thought there'd be like millions or something. Yeah, but not many.
I have like, I don't know, like 50 pictures on my Instagram. Yeah.
And they're like quite fashionable as well. So you're you know, a contradiction in a way, because you know when you think of a writer, you think of like a reclusive, generally, you know what I mean, not always. But reclusive, you're a quiet, inhibited person, but you're quite confident on sport, on some music, all these things. But I just think these experiences in life sort of obviously help with being creative and that. What other sort of things have you experienced in your youth? Have you like traveled around lots or, you know?
I mean, one thing, my family is from Greece. So the first language I spoke was Greek. And I think that in an interesting way, I speak English, Greek, and French. And I think in terms of writing, having all these other languages sort of elevates that, because there will be like a phrase that only exists in one language. And you're like, oh, that would be perfect for, you know, this part of this book here, but you just can't fit it in. So it sort of expands your mind in terms of how you think about certain ways of saying things. I mean, my brother right now, he still plays soccer. So that definitely being outside of being the player and being able to watch, you know, everything from like a distance now is like a much different experience for me as well. And I sort of appreciate everything a little bit more, but everything that I've done in terms of just like writing at school, just in terms of university right now, what I'm doing, like, I think everything to some extent.
Ryerson, is it? Ryerson?
Ryerson, yeah.
Ryerson, yeah.
Yeah, it's like downtown Toronto, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you all this. And whereabouts in Greece are your family from? I was in Greece like last year. I was in near Athens, Piraeus, and I was in Thessaloniki.
Yeah,
Well,
I have a lot of family in Athens right now. My mom's side is from Sparta, and then my dad's side is from like this little like mountain village way up in the north. But so it's the whole country.
That's cool. That's to say it from Sparta, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
From Spartan warriors, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah,
to say.
Maybe that's where I get like the confidence from. I don't know, but
yeah, that's it. So, well, you're in the second year of uni, yeah?
Yeah, I've just finished my second year, so I'm going to be going into third year in September. Yeah.
Have you made any good contacts through these projects for your films moving forward, or is it the indie promotion?
Yeah, I've made a couple of like my professors.
Mm-hmm.
I know are really good. They have good contacts, so they're definitely people who like, you like connect with them on LinkedIn, and then you're able to like have that sort of basis. I've met a few people who they themselves have some interesting, even if they're not going into the same field as me. I know, like I've got friends who know people in the industry. I've got whatever, but right now, lately, this last year, because it's all been online,
Mm-hmm.
has been that sort of networking part has been kind of like obliterated completely. We used to have like networking nights where you could go in and listen to people talk and like have a nice conversation with them after, producers, whatever. And now like all of that just doesn't exist anymore. So hopefully next year I can get back to doing that. But
yeah, I like the idea of doing like, filmmaking and the writing and, sort of covering all sorts of areas and connecting with different people. Yeah. Because lots of people, they just do some writing and they've got no way of promoting this writing. They've got no way of like, the world seeing it. So it might be amazing, but nobody ever sees it because they're not good at selling themselves, and that's from what I've learned from speaking to different, like really credible authors, the self-promotion is like massive.
Yeah.
You might have a good publishers, but no one's going to promote better than you, really.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't believe in what you're doing wholeheartedly, then no one else is going to either, for sure. So if they don't see you putting yourself out there for your own work, then why would they take the time to invest in it as a consumer either? Like it has to go both ways. It's not just going to magically appear for you, So
yeah. So do you see this Thorn winning any sort of awards in the future?
Ooh,
prediction? Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Everything I do will win awards. That's just bottom line. But there's the Toronto International Film Festival, which happens every single year here in September. And I know that there's specific categories you can submit for like short films, or even throughout the calendar year, you can submit your short films and they can take a look at it or whatever. So I'm definitely going to be looking to send it in there.
Mm-hmm. What's the submission process for this? Is it like...
I looked at it last year and hadn't had anything done, so it might be different this year, but you just have to fill out, it's very similar to how you would query to publish a book. You have to fill out a bunch of forms, you have to, send your film in, and then you just have to wait. It's out of your hands. But
what's the filming criteria? Is it like, must be like 4K or...
Oh yeah, it's 4K. Usually there's a time, there's certain categories. I know there's a specific category for minute-long short films, and then there's like another one for like between 5 and 15. Like there's different categories you submit to. 4K, usually they won't usually have an aspect ratio criteria, because that's usually like creative liberties or whatever, but usually it just has to be within guidelines of time and quality, essentially. So
what cameras are you using there in the unit? Using like have you used a Red or a Real X or something?
I personally don't actually do any of the filming. I'll just write and direct. A couple of my friends know all the answers to that. I have no idea what they do. They are very good at it. But I am just always too preoccupied telling other people what to do. So they'd be able to answer that. I just know that it always looks nice. So if they know how to do it, then that's
but the uni has a really good facilities to things,
Yeah, we've got like an image arts program, and we've got a lot of support, because it's very much the arts-based programs are very big at my school. So we've got like, you can go and rent cameras, you can go and rent like boom mics, anything you need. And so having resources like that is very helpful, and it's very nice. And we've got like incubators. You can like pitch your idea, and if they like it, they'll help fund it, type thing. So yeah, we've got a lot of really cool resources for sure. Yeah.
And sort of around this area, the nature and the city, is it like, can you get into nature quite fast?
But we've got a lake and Lake Ontario, which is pretty big. And we've got like a couple of minutes from my house, there's like a ravine. So if you need like forest shots, you can go there. And then you've got the city. So it gives for a very diverse sort of landscape to be able to film in, which I feel like is part of the reason why you'll get like a lot of like Hollywood movies filming up here as well, just because it's cheaper. It can double as any city you want. You have the options to go off road or whatever. And so, yeah, it's just, there's a lot you can do here. So I'm really lucky in that sense.
You seem like really focused in that in uni. Yeah. When I was in uni, I just got drunk for 3 years. I did archaeology, a totally useless degree. Yeah. I just got drunk for 3 years and it was good. It was a good fun, but I was like, yeah, but are you like this, or do you go out and go crazy sometimes? And
I mean, I don't know who's going to watch this video, but
I'll edit it.
Always like this. No, but I mean, in this sense, I do other things. It's not all this, but I feel like when I am doing it, I should be, just because I'm lucky in that I know what I want to do. I know a lot of my friends aren't really sure what they want to be doing, right? So I feel that if I already know what it is that I want, I should be not wasting time on that, especially in an industry like this where you don't have time to sort of wait around. Like, I feel like when I'm doing this, or when I'm writing a screenplay, or when I'm at school or whatever, I can't justify not doing the work properly.
This is one of the things, because I saw about you, I saw some things, and I said, if people, the most successful people know what they want to do early on. Most of them, it's very difficult to become successful at something later on in life, and just change path. Like, I've changed path about 5 times, accountancy, archaeology. I just keep shifting into different lanes. But I really do think that's like a blessing to know what you want to do early on. But not just know what you want to do, sort of really understand the craft and understand what you're doing. Because some people say they want to be a singer, but they're a terrible singer, and they don't sort of self-reflect. Yeah. But do you I assume you self-reflect a lot, because I saw them videos and then they were down.
They were down. They were gone. Like, they never even happened. I was like, no. I was like 16 in that. I don't know what the hell was going on there, but no, I do. I know a lot of people say you're like your own worst critic. I don't know if that's necessarily the case for me. I feel like I'm very much a realist when I'm looking at my work. Like, I'll be able to say like, this is good or this is bad in a way that's not like disparaging, or like that seems like I'm like fishing for compliments or whatever. So I do self-reflect a lot, and obviously there's always room to grow forever for your whole life. And I know that, and I don't want to pretend that I'm just like perfect at everything all the time because I work at it. But yeah, everything I do, I do a lot of self-reflection for sure, even outside of working and stuff like that. Just in everyday general life, I do that.
Have you got any like student friends who are a bit like me, bit of a mess?
I wouldn't say a mess. I definitely know people who say that they want to do things, or say that they have a certain goal, but they don't actively work towards it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's just, if you want something, you have to do it. You can't just wait for it to happen type thing, right? So I don't know a lot of people. Like, I know a lot of people are in like very generic programs at school right now, just because until they figure out what they actually want, which is completely fair. But for people who say that they know what they want to do and they just don't do it, that's, there's nothing.
But like, when I was a kid, I loved boxing and that. And I went to boxing, but in boxing, you've got to be really dedicated, and you've got to really focus, and it's all about sacrifice. The soul of the sport is sacrifice. And I'm not a guy who's going to sacrifice, that much. So, but what I didn't see when I was young, that if I'd have carried on doing the boxing, it could have taken me down another road where I could be a boxing reporter, or a physiotherapist, or a dietitian, or something that could involve me in the sport. But,
exactly.
So, even with you, like you said, if you're dedicated to something and you have like a great knowledge of it, then worst case scenario, you can like teach it or something.
Yeah, exactly. And like, even though I don't play anymore, I'm still very interested in many sports and stuff like that. So I know that I've got like ideas for like docuseries about certain sports or certain leagues, or like things that I'll be able to do relating what I like doing in film and what I liked doing in sports, and when I have the resources for that and stuff. So even in that lens, it's like, I always feel like you can tie things that you used to love into what you love now. You can always find a way to merge both, I feel like,
like multidisciplinary nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for today?
My plan.
Anything exciting?
I've.
Don't worry. You don't have to say anything exciting.
No, I mean,
when I asked David Hayter last week, I said, "Oh, are you going to have supermodels,
Mr. Hollywood,
cocaine in a bowl for breakfast or something?" And he was like, "No, I'm just going to go and visit my mother in a facility." So.
I mean, honestly, all I'm doing, I have like playoff hockey to watch. That's the plan for today, is to watch some hockey.
So you're a big hockey fan. That's not popular in England, hockey.
I know.
Massive in Canada, yeah.
Yeah, massive here, massive in North America, and in like Sweden, Finland, all those places as well.
Yeah. Have you ever had that? So hockey players or famous people, have you had much contact with anybody who's like, a big star who can maybe give you a leg?
I've met a few soccer players, football players over the years. A couple years ago, Tottenham came here to play like an exhibition game against Toronto FC. So I met a bunch of Spurs players. But I mean, not as much as I would have liked, as I would want to have contact with. But the people that I've met have mostly been sort of athletes, stuff like that. Yeah.
Any of them they're a bit mad, them hockey players, yeah?
A little bit.
I saw a film called Goon. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
That's amazing, that film, yeah. He's like a bit, I don't know he's like simple-minded, a nice guy, but a bit simple. This is based on a real guy?
I believe so, yeah. And I mean, there's less goon type players now than there was, but there's still a few of them in the league. They're still causing problems up there. So
do you like them type of players? Them sort of like
situationally. I like them if they're on my team. If they're not on my team, I hate them. I'm like, suspend them. I don't want them anywhere near me. But if they're on my team, it's not my problem to deal with. So
have you played hockey?
I have not. I went into like rep soccer and like fairly like competitive soccer when I was like pretty young. So I never really had time to do like the split sport, both sports type thing. But a lot of my friends played hockey. I know a lot of people who play it still right now. So
can you skate?
I can't skate, yes.
You can, yeah. Good. Yeah. Can everyone in Canada skate?
I wish I could say yes. I feel like you should have to skate. It should be like a rite of passage, but no, unfortunately. I've had to like push people along before, but
so for your music, yeah, mm-hmm. Does this play a part in your films and things? Do you include a bit of your own music in there, or like the music you were playing was a bit weird, yeah? It sounded good, but I was like, I didn't know who it was. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
I can't remember now, but yeah, it was a bit different. Is that your music?
I have written songs. I have done covers of songs. I have like a little beat pad and a little keyboard and stuff. So I know how to do all that. I'm not necessarily the best composer. If I have to, I can put something together, but I usually have friends who are better at that, who can, just because the program that I'm in for school, it's sort of interdisciplinary. It's a bunch fashion, journalism, music, a bunch of different things. So if I need that music outlet, I have a bunch of friends who can do it. But I mean, it's always something I can fall back on. If no one else can do it, I can do it. So
yeah. I always thought that, like, I've started to think that, like, what lots of people don't exploit, older people don't exploit TikTok or Instagram so much, yeah. Because I always said, if you got like, I know Instagram's got lots of idiots on as well, hasn't it? Lots of people. Yeah. But I always thought, like, if you get like somebody who's really popular on Instagram and put them in your movie, you've got like a massive audience. As long as you write the script tailored towards, these people. Yeah. Are you going to use Instagram and TikTok and things like this as a promotional tool, or do you see the value in them?
Yeah, I definitely do see the value in it, especially for reaching people who are more around my age or demographic. But the thing is, I feel like there's a very fine line, which maybe some people who are a bit older don't really notice this, but there's a very fine line between doing good promotion on social media and between oversaturating your audience. Like, I know that there's people who will promote their things every single day, and good for them, but I get tired of seeing it. I'm like, I actually, at this point, cannot keep looking at this anymore. Yeah. So I feel like you have to know your audience very well. You have to know who follows you, and you have to know what they're receptive to. Like, for me, if I'm going to promote for my book, or if I'm going to promote for my short film, I'll maybe post 2 things and leave it at that, because people are not going to want to see it every single day, all the time. So I feel like that needs to be sort of something you take into consideration too, because it's good to get yourself out there, but when it's too much, like it's
well, I did it with my book. I also as well. I'd get bored myself, because I wrote some books a few years ago, yeah, and I lasted a week trying to promote myself. I had 1 week, and then I was like, man, I'm sick of telling people to read my book.
You're like, that's enough.
I don't care if they read it, you know, whatever, it's done now. So yeah, so I agree with you with that, and it's just about being clever. And it's a really weird, you know, difficult thing to negotiate. So you've got people in university who can help you with these things, like mentors.
Yeah, I know there's people in the mentor type role who I can reach out to if I need to. For me, the connections though that seem to be helping me more are people my age who I know that, for example, I could get promotion through them, like free promotion through them. So if I'm out here forcing all of my friends to buy my book, which I'm doing, and they like post a picture with it or on their story or whatever, I repost that picture, and it's a different sort of promotion rather than me posting it myself. Even though I'm still getting it, the same message to my audience, it's sort of reaffirming not only that people want to see it, but it's also not me making my own organic posts. So it kind of like is that little loophole of you can keep posting stuff like that. So yeah, the connections that I've made through people my own age have been a little bit more helpful and a little bit more accessible. But I have I'm going to be doing an internship next year, so we'll see how things go like that as well. And
I mean, that's like with this channel, like you can sort of say, oh, watch this channel, it's great. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm on the channel. You know? it's just an indirect way of promoting, you know.
Yeah.
It's great talking to you. Yeah, I think I haven't interviewed anyone whose book I haven't read. Yeah, I've never done that before, and it's like, because it's weird, because the book gives you like kind of some safety, because as a reference point, so I can talk to people and refer to points of the book. But when I saw that you got signed by these publishers and saw some little bits, I just saw there's maybe some magic there. So I hope, you know, and I think, you know, judging by the way you speak and everything, and brilliant. So I think you'll do really well. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Hopefully. I mean, when it comes out, you can read it, and then we can chat again.
Yeah, chat again, and we'll try and get like somebody who's in, you know, I don't know, like a David Hayter or somebody who's like another guy in the industry on together, you know, who's a bit more established like that. And it could help you, could make a connection like that.
Yeah, and by the time my book comes out, I'll have at least one short film out there properly as well. So we'll have double.
Yeah, come on again, bring your friends on.
I'll bring everybody, it'll be a nice party.
Everyone in the background just shout. That's
a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. The more people who are on your videos, this is why I'm going to change the format, and just try and get more people on the videos, because then more of their friends watch them. But it's not just the YouTube videos that make it, because what I always do with this is I always make a little trailer, and some of the trailers get lots and lots of traction, you know, they'll get like not lots and lots, but a few thousand people watching them, you know, like with the interviews. So the small trailers are sometimes better than the videos, you know, on the YouTube. So yeah, that's why TikTok interests me, which I don't think older people exploit. And I don't. Sorry, go on.
TikTok's another world over there. The most random things get views. Like you will try forever to get something seen, and then you'll post like a random 3-second video of you like walking through your house, and that's the one that'll blow up. And you're like, okay, thank you. Like the algorithm is very strange.
Yeah, there's an algorithm, but there's also like if lots and lots of writers are doing it and referring to a certain point, like this channel, for example, then maybe it can work. I don't know, but I just want to make. I really want to make people who write more appealing to, you know, to the wider audience, because often people write something and they just kind of shy away.
Yeah,
I think you've just written a masterpiece, but nobody knows who you are. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So
there needs to be a face attached to it, or at least a personality attached to it. Otherwise, it's like no different than anything else. Definitely. I find, at least. I don't know.
You can be the face of writing.
I can be absolutely. My Oscars acceptance speech.
2 films. I hope you do that one day. You just reference those 2 films.
I will literally, even if I forget about it, I know I'll have a friend who will like send me that tweet and be like, "Girl, this is what you have to say at your speech." And I'll be like, "All right, fine, fair enough."
I'm good. I'm good. Thank
you for this.
It's brilliant. I really lovely chatting to you. I can't wait till it comes out. I'm going to read it, and then, but before that, when your film comes out, we'll try and do something again.
For sure.
A film person on with you.
Okay, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, Andrea.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your
Lovely
day.
talking to you. Bye bye.